All right, I hope you enjoyed the story. It's called The Shadow
The
That
full moon hung in the sky like a watchful eye, casting an eerie glow over the old dormitory where college student David Warson lay in his bed, the shadows dancing on the walls. Despite the late hour, the campus grounds were silent, save for the occasional hoot of an owl. The air was thick with the oppressive weight of impending dread, and a sense of unease settled over David as he tried to push aside the creeping feeling that he was being watched. It all started innocently enough, with David volunteering for a sleep study conducted by the psychology department to earn some extra cash. The promise of a few nights in a comfortable bed and the allure of easy money had seemed like a no-brainer at the time. Little did he know, this decision would lead him down a nightmarish path from which there may be no return. As the nights in the sleep study passed, David began to experience increasingly vivid and terrifying nightmares. Shadows seemed to loom and shift around him, taking on a life of their own as they twisted and contorted into grotesque forms that seemed to whisper his name. Convinced it was just a side effect of the sleep deprivation, David tried to brush off his growing unease, but the feeling of being hunted followed him like a dark cloud. Just when David thought he had cracked the code on the shadow creatures and had a plan to confront them, a shocking revelation turned his world upside down. The creatures were not just figments of his imagination, they were real, malevolent beings that fed on fear and thrived on tormenting their victims. With this new knowledge came a suffocating sense of despair, as he realized the true danger he was in. The shadows began to close in on David from all sides, their whispers growing louder and more insistent with each passing night. Sleep became a distant memory, replaced by a gnawing fear that clawed at his sanity and threatened to consume him whole. Alone and isolated, he realized he was no match for the malevolent entities that stalked him in the darkness. In a moment of devastating defeat, David hit rock bottom, his spirit broken and his will to fight all but extinguished. The shadows seemed to mock him, their taunts echoing in the empty chambers of his mind as he teetered on the edge of surrender. Hope flickered and died, leaving only a void of hopelessness in its wake. But in the depths of his despair, a flicker of defiance ignited within David. Drawing on the lessons he had learned and the small sliver of hope that still lingered in his heart, he found the strength to push back against the encroaching darkness. With newfound resolve, he braced himself for the final battle that would determine his fate. In a harrowing showdown with the shadow creatures that had haunted him, David discovered a well of courage within himself that he never knew existed. Through a combination of wit, bravery, and sheer determination, he outsmarted his otherworldly foes and emerged victorious, the darkness finally receding into the depths from whence it came. Though the threat had passed, David knew that the horrors he had faced would stay with him forever, a constant reminder of the fragility of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable evil. As he drifted into an uneasy sleep, he was plagued by the echoes of the past, a survivor of the shadows but forever changed by the ordeal.